Well, hello guys. If you saw the title and YouTube let me keep this up, you know what the topic is. So, seriously though, if that makes you uncomfortable, if he's like your dad or your uncle or something, you're like, ew. Go ahead, like leave now. You won't offend me. I know there are people that get like real head up about it, and they're like, no one should ever talk about it ever. And actually, that's wrong because then the rest of us end up sanitizing Loki and making him sound like this G-rated god, and someone gets Loki and he's, all that. And they're like, what's the matter? Why, am I crazy? It's like, no, you're not crazy, honey. He has a lot of sexual energy. A lot. A lot. And most of us don't talk about it because either A, we think we're going to get banned from YouTube, which if this is my final video, I know why. Or B, I think it's because it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction to the culture we're living in, like this highly sexualized, potent god. And he's not fertility, by the way, even though pray tell you he is. I mean, tell you anything justify means to end. But, it's part of his nature, and unless you came from, like, perhaps Wicca or another paganism religion, or, a religion where there is a sexualized, very manly, and that's just one aspect with him in the sexuality, to be clear, God, you're going to be very uncomfortable. Now, there are two books I want to mention. Um, there's Feeding the Flame. And this is like, I can take some stuff and I can leave some stuff. I'm not going to say it's the most perfect book ever on Loki, because there's never going to be one, because he's so individualized with every person. But a lot of this is good, and it does talk about, like, when you meet him, if you work with him on a regular basis, the sexuality is eventually going to come up, and he does not care if you're married or you're involved or anything else. And you're either going to have to say, no, I don't want that, or yes, I do, and then how you two work that out is entirely between yourselves. And the thing is, I agree with the book. I don't think he's going to bring it up with you if you will be absolutely traumatized for whatever reason. But, that's part of his sacred duty, though. Well, duty's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. That's part of who he is as a god, and I think a lot of us, we kind of curtail that and don't mention it because we think we're going to offend people, but it's like, it's part of Loki. You either accept everything Loki is, or you get this kind of watered down version. And it's okay if you don't want to work with that path. Like, if, for whatever reason your relationship isn't like that, that's fine. But at the same time, we kind of have to acknowledge it's there. It's like, we can't whitewash him and neuter him and put him in the corner and say, like, he's the new whatever. And because that's not going to do us any good as Lokeans. And the other book, you will either love or hate depending on your relationship with him. A lot of the poems in here are highly erotic, highly sexualized. I mean, you're invoking Loki to do things. So, if you do not dig that kind of thing, do not read the book. But there's also, like, actually, like, curse towards an enemy, a blessing towards a friend, a whole lot of other stuff in here too. So it's like a pretty good book to have. It's not an easy read at first. Like, I had to read it once and I was like, oh, and then I read it again. I'm like, oh, okay, I get this. Because, if you do have that relationship with him, there's nothing worse than sexual jealousy, yeah? So, which is why a lot of Lokeans fight like cats and dogs, in case other people are wondering. It's like, yeah, it's like, and, so if you're really, really jealous of anyone else's sexual relationship with him, don't read this. But if you are okay with it and you're cool and you would like some invocations or some things to read to him, because he said to like poetry, I don't know. It's a really good book to start with, and it can kind of get you into being more comfortable seeing his sexuality and seeing that potency in him, because there's nothing wrong with it. We have to remember, we're not in a religion. Well, maybe your path is, where we see sexuality as sinful or bad or anything. Now some people give it to Odin, but as Lokeans, we generally feel that it is given to Loki to have that sexual potent force that pushes everything forward. If animals and birds and people and everything on the planet didn't copulate, there'd be no life. And you need a force to drive that forward. So you need someone to cover lust and, every other kind of sexuality. Now, that doesn't mean, before you ask, it doesn't mean like he covers sexual deviancy. And by that I mean he's not like the crown prince of people that go after like underage people or something like that. So just so you know, just so you don't have to ask, so you're not like, and he's not like the patron saint of rapist or something, so he's not that kind of sexuality. We all have the force within us. How we choose to use it is on us. It's like, don't blame Loki because you got loaded and went out and had sex with 5 people and now you have a disease. It's not Loki's fault. He gives you the gift, but it's up to you how to control that gift. And you can, of course, pray to him for potency and endurance and all those other good things, and he will be very delighted. And another thing, since I'm straight, we're not shy at all. I mean, come on, I used to run an adult channel on Squidoo back when it was fun. You can work with that sexual energy in the here and now. There are like so many frustrated, cranky Lokeans going around like, he won't show up in my dreams. And I'm like, well, you do know you can do sex magic rituals when you're awake, right? And Loki will be more than happy to take part. Now, whether you are doing that solitary, you're going to be fine. When you're going to get in a group, I do caution you to be careful. I mean, there's nothing wrong with serving Loki sexually, but sometimes a group is a group of people that are practicing legitimate sex magic. Sometimes they're just creepy people you need to stay away from. And you can pray to Loki for discernment, because it's really easy to fake a possession. It's not voodoo. We can't grab him and like pour Pimon in his eyes and see if he starts to scream. So, do be careful. Pray to him for discernment if that's what you're going to do. If you're going to practice with your significant other, of course, make sure they know what's happening, and make sure they know like what your end goal is. If you're going to be using the magic for something, if it's just an offering, if it's just like showing appreciation towards Loki for the gift, let them know. Don't be dishonest about it. And I thought I would make this video. I had 2 that I was going to make, and I was like, I have to make this video because I don't want a lot of people just coming into Loki. I'm sorry. Getting to know Loki. Oh God. It's just getting worse and worse. But I don't want new people to Loki to feel all that wonderful sexual energy and then be like, there's something wrong with me. Because especially if you come from the Abrahamic religions, you're going to be like, oh no, there's something wrong with me. I have sexual feelings towards a god. Oh honey, it's so normal. It's so normal. And yes, he will enter into that kind of relationship with you, like I said, but it's up to you how you two conduct it. If you're the kind of person that wants to wait only for dreams so you can know that it's Loki, more power to you. If you want to work it here and now, work it here and now. Please practice safe sex. Please get tested every so often. It's just common sense. And that's another thing too. If you are going to be working with this power, working with this potency, working with Loki is safe, but make sure you don't get out of control. And I'm not like calling anyone slutty or anything. I would have no room to do that. But I mean, like, be sure that if you're single, for example, and you want to start picking up partners, that you're smart and you practice safe sex, and you remember that it is a sacred gift. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a sacred gift. So yeah, He definitely has that in him, and there's nothing wrong with it being in him. And you may never encounter the aspect because you may be extremely uncomfortable with it. Your personal views might be, well, I have a lover, a mate, whatever. I don't want this, need this from him. It doesn't mean he might not try, but, you know, you can tell him no. He's not like a serial rapist or something. I know I've heard people call him that. It's like, F you people. But, he's you know who he is, and there's nothing wrong with that because we need that sexuality in the universe. We need that driving force in the universe. And you know, there are definitely other gods that have sexuality as well in the Norse pantheon. It's not like they're the shy gods. But yeah, so like if you prefer another to work that path, there are plenty. I can't think of one that was called virginal at all. And you know, they don't have that Judeo-Christian concept of, but I'm married. No, they're quite fine with being your teacher or whatever. I mean, some people learn from Odin, some people learn from someone else. It depends on who you want to be with and who you want to have that relationship with. I feel my energy just go, whoom. But yeah, guys, I thought I would make this so that you know it's okay if you want to enter that relationship with him. It's not a sin. It's not a shame. God, look, he's not going to be ashamed of you. You're not asking anything bad of him. You're not going to ruin him. And it just, I'm laughing, I'm giggling because it's just, the energy is just so amazing, right? And, yeah, if you have any comments, questions, whatever, you know, comment below if you like what you see. Like, comment, subscribe. It is not rhetorical. And I wanted to get that out there because I don't want to do him a disservice and present him as this G-rated vanilla god and then have people be like panicking when the sexuality occurs, because it will occur unless you're like hypersensitive, offended by that sort of thing. It's going to occur eventually. He's Loki. It will occur with a lot of the Norse gods, which they try not to tell you, but it will occur. And if it's not occurring for you, there are people that make very hateful, bitter videos about it. Maybe it's because you're so anti, you know, the gods can't force a blessing on you, as Loki's always telling me. They can't force you to take something, and he's certainly not going to, and Odin's certainly not going to, and none of them are. So if you see one of those bitter people like, oh, I hate those people that talk about having sex with the gods and blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe that's why. If they're still in that Judeo-Christian, sexist, dirty, filthy, dishonoring to the gods mindset, it's never going to happen for them. If they become good little pagans and realize our gods like to go and frolic, then possibilities develop. So, you know, if you like it, fine, pursue it. If you don't, it's not something he's going to force on you. But, you know, as pagans, we have to remember it's not a sin. It's a sacred gift. Just, you know, don't drag it through the mud. You know what I mean. Appreciate the sacred gift. Be appreciative to Loki, and just have fun, but be responsible. Get tested. You know, and find your own path with it. And have a lot of fun with it. And I hope you guys like that. And like I said, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. And I hope that made an ounce of sense. But again, if you want to read a book with invocations, this is the book to read, Trickster My Beloved. And if you want like a general all-around book that, again, I don't agree with absolutely everything I've ever read on him in either book, but this as well. And this will tell you about, like, it's kind of like a crash course to Loki if you've never worked with him before. So, I hope you all found that useful and entertaining, and I didn't even mention anything else I could have mentioned, so I kept it PG, at least. So, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.